Here we are on Morning Scramble again. Apollo Poetry is joining us. He's an author, public speaker, and music artist. He's been featured several times on MTV, ABC, Fox News, PBS, and NPR. He's been interviewed or acknowledged by such luminaries as Deepak Chopra, the Hilton family, the Jackson family, Marianne Williamson, Lady Gaga, Swizz Beatz, Dan Harrison, and many others. This guy has been around. We have a photo of him with billionaire Alki David, which is showcasing their hologram technology. I don't know if we'll be able to get that up for us. And to top it off, Apollo broke a world record for Guinness in 2013 and was once in the top 10 to fly to outer space with NASA. Unbelievable. Here's someone who clearly does not believe in the term overachiever, because that's his regular life. Apollo Poetry. Apollo, is that your real name, Apollo Poetry?
I actually legally changed it to Apollo Poetry a couple years ago, so I'm still getting used to being called Mr. Poetry.
That's very clever. So are you a poet?
I am, yes. I've been writing for about 20 years now.
Okay. Whoa, nice. You don't even hardly look like you're 20. Did you just turn 20 today?
I just turned 31.
Sorry, I'm giving you a rough time. Well, yeah, you still, yes, very young. Also, what was your Guinness World Book of Records? I want to know what you did to win a record in 2013.
I was originally going to go for longest poetry reading, but it ended up being way too crazy and a lot of health risks. So it was kind of something silly, like it was catching the most dice in 30 seconds blindfolded from 7 feet away. And I had a bucket list, and breaking the Guinness record was the last thing on my bucket list. So I did a bunch of research. I narrowed it down to like what's the most breakable, and I just went for it just so I can be like, all right, I broke a Guinness record. Awesome.
Well, that is interesting. You've done so much, and you were once a homeless high school dropout. How did your new successful life begin, Apollo?
I think there was this moment that in the middle of all that, I was hustling out in New Jersey and New York. I got taken to the back of an abandoned building. I had 7 guns, people in a circle, all drawn on me. And I thought that was the end of my life. And it was in that moment that I decided that if I survive this situation, I'm truly going to make every single minute count. And then ever since that, I literally just went crazy. Every single day, I networked. I went out there. I went after everything that I always wanted to go after. And that's, you know, now when I look back and I look at my resume, it's kind of surreal that I've been able to accomplish all this, considering, you know, when I was a teenager, I suffered from anxiety attacks, I was homeless, I had lots of different issues, and I've been able to overcome all of that just by choosing love instead of giving in to fear.
Whoa, that is a really dynamic testimony, Apollo. Amazing. You're also the author of a brand new book, The Traveling Soul. It was recently nominated for the Phoenix Mayor's Arts Award for Creative Writing. Is this about your life, Apollo?
Yeah, the book is actually in 2009. So I ended up getting a show on MTV in my early 20s. I got a record deal, had a bunch of money, invested it all into real estate at the peak of the market. So I went from homeless to rich, back to homeless. I lost everything. I sold everything off. I moved into my van and then traveled around the country. Now I've been to over 45 states, and the book is basically about my journey traveling around America, volunteering, and it's kind of a spiritual journey that I went on, and I decided to make it a book. So it is available right now on my website at apollopoetry.com. Amazing.
What kind of volunteering did you do, Apollo?
I went to middle schools, high schools, homeless shelters, hospitals, facilitated poetry workshops, things like that. And the one thing that I noticed is just within America, there's so many different subcultures, and regardless of how we look different on the outside, at the core of humanity all around the world, we all have that similar desire of self-expression and community. Each state was literally completely different. You know, when I'm working with people from middle school or high school and hospitals, they're a complete different demographic. So for some of them, it was just public speaking. Some of them, it was, you know, feeding homeless people at their shelters. Other times it was doing writing workshops, because I really feel like expressing yourself is a big thing that a lot of times our voices get silenced, and sometimes people just need to be heard. So I really enjoyed facilitating these workshops where people are able to express themselves and get in touch with what they're feeling.
Okay, I do want to know, where in the world did you get all these skills? It seems like you just do about everything. You've also shot a documentary in Thailand, and you have a new job we'll talk about after the break. But where did all these skills all come from, Apollo?
A lot of it was self-taught, honestly. You'd be surprised at how much you can learn on YouTube right now. You know, when I hit the road and did the Traveling Poet documentary, I didn't have any film skills, and I shot that as a documentary and wrote this book. Then I went to film school, and then I started building up my resume, and then I got called for the Thailand documentary. It's thesecretofdestiny.com. And so we went to Thailand, shot that, then I came back, and now the next job is the one in Costa Rica, which we'll talk about soon.
Phenomenal. The Secret of Destiny. I'm loving this because I think you're a pretty good example of that. Apollo Poetry. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some music that Apollo has done as if he hadn't done enough. So stay with us. We'll be right back. And author and world traveler that you are, Apollo Poetry. You're going to Costa Rica next week for a brand new job. Tell us what this is.
I basically landed my dream job. It's a travel writer, travel photographer, travel videographer. They basically put me in all the top resorts in Costa Rica, and you know, they cover all the top restaurants, they cover all the excursions, scuba diving, waterfall hiking, everything. And I'm basically going to be writing about my experience, and I'm super excited. I'm kind of going to miss Phoenix, though, to be honest.
Oh, not when you get to Costa Rica. I've been there. You probably have, too. What an amazing place. Lots of things to do. Hey, you're also a music artist, Apollo, and you're in a new positive hip-hop group. Tell us about Soul Fam.
Yes, Soul Fam is me and Sarai. If you guys remember, Sarai had a Billboard Top 40 hit called Ladies a while back. So we decided to join forces and create this positive hip-hop movement. So we ended up shooting a music video in Times Square. It's featured on MTV right now. It's in the top 20 on Reverb Nation, and we're starting global distribution for it next week. So that's soulfam.com. I feel like I'm just like promoting a bunch of stuff, but this is kind of my life. I'm constantly involved in a lot of different projects because life is short, and you just gotta, you know, create as much as you can while you're here.
Well, you're doing a good job. Let's take a look at Soul Fam, a little clip from the video.
Love lives if I believe in it. If you are seeing it, you could be achieving it, breathing it, feeling it. It is yours to grasp. But they take it, not give it, they breathe it, and living it a way that makes me laugh. But I believe in a better way, and I'm not sitting here thinking about yesterday. All I know is right now is all I have. So I'ma put my hands up and do the dance like
money isn't everything, and love isn't material. Beauty is more than a filter on your cellular. Happiness is in the moment, you can have it if you want it. Oh, oh, oh. I've been standing on the edge of hope. I've been running from the thought of no. I've been seeing something beautiful. Oh, oh, trying to live in the light. I've been standing on the edge of hope. I've been running from the thought of no. I've been seeing something beautiful. Oh, trying to live in the light.
You can see the rest of that video at reverbnation.com, as Apollo said. Apollo, you're calling this a positive hip-hop group. What is the positive hip-hop?
Oh, we try promoting consciousness, spirituality, meditation, positive thinking, law of attraction. We're using music as a tool. Basically, everything that I do, it seems like I do a lot of things, but it comes down to one thing. It's the same thing that you do, actually. It's storytelling. And that's all everything is. Music, film, creative arts, it's all storytelling. And I just think that that's kind of storytelling and expression is the one thing that humanity, all cultures throughout history, have in common. So.
It does, definitely preserves our history and inspires us. You've rubbed shoulders with the rich and famous, you've traveled, you've written an award-winning book, you have a popular band, you're now an official travel writer. Is there anything left on your bucket list, Apollo?
I'm actually creating a whole nother bucket list for my 30s, which is going to be exciting. And you know, at the end of the day, though, I always say that it doesn't matter how long you live, it matters how you live, and it matters what you do with your time. So the bucket list, you know, all these things and these awards, they're nice for people to look at as like a reference point for the things that you've done, but they don't mean as much to me as the people that I met on all these journeys that I went on, the love that was shared. That's really what counts. It's not the money, it's not the rewards. That's nice, right, on the surface. But the truth is that the people that you interact with, the love that you give, the love that you receive, the inspiration that you help spread in this world, that's what lives on beyond you.
I find it so interesting that obviously you had a rough start in life and probably got kind of on the wrong path, it sounds like, from your little alley experience and dropping out of school and all that. The fact that you've pulled yourself up by your bootstraps and become exceptional is so inspiring. I think you're going to have to write another book for people so that you can kind of share your secrets.
Absolutely. Yeah, this book is just kind of my traveling experiences, but I am working on another book that kind of goes a little bit about the mentality that went behind creating all of these things. At the end of the day, you know, remember that you're the author of your story and don't let other people become the editor of your book.
Phenomenal. Was there someone specifically who you felt mentored you or that you took inspiration from that inspired you to change your life, Apollo?
You know, that's interesting. There are so many people. There wasn't really one person. There are things that we don't even remember that completely changed our lives. There might have been something that I saw when I was a teenager that planted a seed in my mind. So that's why sometimes, like, you know, you plant these seeds and you create these ripple effects into other people's lives, and you don't know how it influences them down the path. So it's literally every single person that I've met, even the people who have hurt me, have helped shape me. Anybody who's done anything amazing has overcome tragedies usually in order to accomplish that. And I always compare it to, like, you know, when you go to a gym, you literally rip your muscles and they gain strength in the healing process. And I think the same is true emotionally and spiritually. Anytime you're going through tragedies and difficult times in your life, during that healing process, you gain so much strength and emotional intelligence. So literally every single person I've ever come across who loved me, hated me, challenged me, have all been part of my path, and I'm grateful for all of them. So
amazing. Well, The Soul Traveler, your new book out, where can people get a hold of that, Apollo?
It is apollopoetry.com, and it'll be available as audiobook, ebook, and we're working on the physical print soon as well.
Well, and in that is sort of your spiritual journey, and I think people will probably get a lot of advice from that book as well. Certainly you are an example and an inspiration, an interesting fellow, Apollo Poetry. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
And don't go away. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back, right on Morning Scramble.